record. Okay, and then I'll put the recording up online. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and I'll start this. So this lecture is about fast thinking, and it's really short and fast. And it comes from a book by Daniel Kahneman called Thinking Fast and Slow, and he's a psychologist and an economist. He actually won the Nobel Prize for his economic work in decision theory, which is based on the psychology he developed about how people think. And so today I'm just going to talk about fast thinking, and then next week I'll talk a little bit about slow thinking. So fast thinking is so fast, it actually feels involuntary. It doesn't feel like you're trying to think at all. It's just like being in the world. But nonetheless, it requires a broad knowledge of language and culture. So you don't have to think to tell me the capital of Texas if you live here. And you don't have to think to tell me the capital of France, or to add 2 plus 2. It's just so fast, it feels involuntary. In fact, try to not think Paris when somebody asks you that question. That's harder, right? So there are thoughts that occur automatically and require little or no effort, he says. And some examples of this kind of thinking are perceiving, recognizing objects. This is a cup. Orienting attention. So like if you hear a loud noise, you just automatically turn, you don't think about it. Avoiding losses, so grabbing a glass that's about to fall. And then all kinds of mental activities that just become really fast through lots of practice, which is what 2 plus 2 is. But some people might want to ask, excuse me, is perceiving really a form of thinking? Like it's just seeing, it's not thinking at all. And the example that people use to prove that it is a kind of thinking is this diagram. Have you seen this before? Okay, so which line is longer? Oh yeah, I can't see chat in the PowerPoint, but I bet you said the bottom one. So, oh, because you know, huh? You know that it's not the bottom. Well, that's right. They're both the same length. For me, this one looks longer, even though I know this is an illusion. This is called the Mueller-Lyer illusion. And I can't stop seeing this as longer, this bottom one, even when I know for a fact and have measured that they're the same. So this middle line just looks bigger to me than any of the other lines. And even when you put up the guides at the end, the middle one still looks bigger to me. It's like my perception is automatically trained. So there's a theory for why we perceive that way, and it's called the carpentered world hypothesis. And it's basically the fact that we live in buildings, and for survival, it's really important for us to be able to judge distances. Otherwise, you'd be falling down stairs and bumping into things. So when you live in square buildings, if you see a line like this, it looks like that wall is farther away than this wall or this wall. Whereas if you see a line like this, it looks like this is a step that is closer than that wall. This is all really just flat. It's just an illusion, but those lines make it seem like this is farther away than this. And it's because we've grown up in a world with square buildings. There are some buildings that are not square, but there are lots that are. There is a group of people in Namibia in Africa, who don't live in square buildings. They live in buildings like this, these round buildings. And researchers have found that they do not see those two lines as different. they see them as the same length. They aren't subjected to that illusion. Um, and there's a wonderful piece in on the BBC, its Future series, about this pretty recently, about their kinds of perception. But what's interesting is when the people of this tribe moved to bigger cities in Namibia, they within 4 years they do fall subjected to the illusion. They do see the bottom line as longer, and it's because they're, you know, after 4 years you're accustomed to living in a world with buildings, and so your perception has adjusted. It's learned to think that way. This makes me really happy because you guys are going to be in college for 4 years, and so you're going to, you know, pick up some things that help you think fast about a lot of things that are really helpful for you. So fast thinking can be trained, right? It's something that you can be trained to do. And obviously 2 + 2, I mean, you think 4 faster than I can click through the numbers. I don't know if you remember when you first learned how to drive, but when you first learned how to drive, like everything, you have to think about everything. And as a result, you're not very good at it, right? Because what you really need to be able to do is to forget all the routine stuff so that you can see the truck that's about to hit you, right? You need to be able to focus on only the things that matter. So this system of fast and slow thinking is really great for survival. It's very, very efficient. When you think fast, you free up energy so that you can use that thinking energy on other things that are important to think about. I don't know if you've ever tried to think about riding a bicycle when you ride a bicycle, but when I do it, I fall off. I mean, you just need to do it. You can't think, okay, now I'm going to move this foot, and now I'm going to move that foot. It just drives you crazy. So fast thinking is really, really beneficial and really efficient. It's one of our innate skills that we share with other animals, and really good for survival. So fast thinking is easy. You don't even feel like you're thinking. You just feel like you're being in the world. You're seeing, you're being. Cognitive ease is good in terms of survival. When everything is easy, it's a sign that things are going well, that everything is living up to your expectations, that the norms are being adhered to. It's when something, you know, doesn't, when there's some kind of surprise that you have to think about, that you actually, you know, you feel cognitive dis-ease, that something has happened that disrupts what normally goes on in the world. And in fact, one of the students in the earlier showing of this mentioned that, like, when somebody asks him a question and he answers with right away with the answer, and then they say, "Are you sure?" Then he's suddenly like unconfident, you know, and worried. Is it right what I said? And it's absolutely true. In fact, Daniel Kahneman says the thing about fast thinking, it doesn't have any doubt. It's just immediate. And slow thinking is where you doubt, and slow thinking can make you feel less confident, and it's definitely more difficult. And since we're going to be focusing on slow thinking this semester and doing a lot of it, I hope, you know, we have to talk about that. We have to talk about why it's uncomfortable, and why it doesn't feel good to be uncertain. So fast thinking makes you really efficient and really good. So it frees up mental energy to focus on things that matter. But one thing it's based on is bias, which is to say, it's when you're thinking fast, you prejudged what's going on. That's the origin of the word prejudice. You've prejudged what's going on. Prejudice, a bias. And most of the time, those biases are really helpful. They make it possible for you to do all kinds of things really easily without thinking about them. But every once in a while, they lead to error. And so we're going to be talking about biases in the next couple lectures. You've probably heard of confirmation bias. Yeah, so we'll be going over some of those kinds of biases. So that's it. So it was a short lecture, and I'll put the recording of this up on the lecture site, and also my notes and PowerPoint. All right, great to see you. Bye.